Hi, my name's Lucy Hutson. I'm an artist over in England. I make all sorts of things, but mainly autobiographical performances for theatres and video installations. A few years ago now, I ended up in a mental health facility, and whilst I was there, I wrote a book. It's a bit about what it's like to be in hospital, but the things I'd like to read to you from it today are more about stuff that I was obsessing over whilst I was in there. The title of the book is Everything in My Head at One Time in My Life, and I think that describes quite well the content of the book. The first thing I'd like to read to you is called Selling the Big Issue versus Being an Artist. And The Big Issue is a magazine we have here that is for people to sell if they're homeless. Selling the Big Issue versus Being an Artist. When I was a teenager, I used to sell the big issue. Selling the big issue has its own special kind of soul destruction. You stand there with this magazine pretending to yourself that you're not begging. Some people look at you like you're scum. Most people don't even notice you. You stand there and repeatedly say the words big issue. You say it over and over, till after a while the words transform in your mouth. For me, it always changed into bigger shoe. Of course, then there are the people that feel sorry for you. They buy your magazine and you act thankful. Sometimes they tip you, sometimes they buy you a sandwich and you act thankful. Sometimes people say, "You're not going to spend this money on drugs, are you?" And you say no. This all makes it hard to pretend that you're not begging, because no one tips the newsagent when they buy a magazine. No one asks the newsagent if they're going to spend the money on drugs. No one expects the newsagent to be thankful for the capitalist transaction. The thing is, no one really cares. They buy your magazine to make themselves feel like good people. I know this because I am no longer a big issue seller. And when I buy one, I give the magazine back so they can sell it to someone else. The big issue seller acts thankful, and I feel like a good person. Then I walk on and I think about what I'm going to have for my tea, or which hat goes best with the outfit I'm going to wear that evening. Sometimes being an artist reminds me of being a big issue seller. You write long explanations of why you deserve money or a gig, and I feel like I should act thankful when I get it. I often feel like I have to act subservient to the people who decide if I get a gig in feedback forms that I am sent to fill in, or in chats at the bar after. Or maybe I won't get another gig. When you're a big issue seller, people judge you only on the fact that you're selling that magazine. Your personality is reduced down to that one aspect. Whereas when you're an artist, you actively seek out judgment. You set up small showings, you do scratch nights, you invite reviewers to your shows. You stand there in front of your audience. There is a moment when judgment is suspended. A few seconds at the beginning of a showing or a performance, when you hold the audience's attention before you've said anything, and the audience is held, waiting for you to do something, to judge or enjoy or be offended by or bored by. Then you have your chance to express yourself in any way you want, and the people who judge you on what you want to show them. It can be scary, but unlike the big issue seller, you hold the power. I find these judgments invaluable to my creative process. However, there are times I don't agree with the feedback. At these times, I'm reminded of when I told big issue buyers I never spent the money on drugs, as I put the change in a specific pocket so I could make sure those particular coins went to a dealer. In those days, I would be sat later on smoking a spliff bought with the money I promised wasn't going on drugs. And I'd feel like I had some control in my life, some power in my choices. The feeling is similar when I'm being an artist ignoring feedback. When you go meet up with your crew after a day of selling the big issue, You're validated by your friends who have had similar days. It's you against the world and you feel strong. When you've had a day of not getting funding or not getting into a festival and you're with your art crew, they know the deflated feeling, but there's a twist. When you get a prestigious opportunity, your getting it probably means someone you're friends with didn't. Many of my successes have been at my friends' expenses, which of course works vice versa. Sometimes it can feel like it's us against each other. Although I'm comparing these two professions in this essay, it is important to say that an artist who is having trouble progressing will never know what it feels like to stand in the street and ask people for money, unless they've done it. The next thing I'd like to read to you is called Love versus Heartbreak. The thing about love is it's a bit of a risk. I mean, you get all that staring into each other's eyes, hearts missing a beat at just the mention of someone's name, feeling a warm glow just from holding hands, all that stuff. But then I always get scared. Then there's, am I doing the right thing, saying the right things, basically being what I need to be for them to still love me? Then there's unrequited love, loss of love, breakups. We're continually fed the idea of true love, the one person for everyone deal, and I'm starting to suspect that it isn't real. I think what has really fucked with my head is the idea that people only leave a relationship because one of you has done something bad. Because life isn't like that. Love just sometimes fucks off. Sometimes you just can't make it work, even though both of you are caring, decent humans who have done nothing wrong. I believe this theoretically, but another part of me has fallen hook, line and sinker for the true love myth. And it's infecting the way I think about myself. I don't blame Disney for this. I've never wanted to be a far-fetched princess. In fact, I've been anti-royalist from a very young age. I blame Ross and Rachel, and more recently I felt like Penny and Leonard have been judging me. And it's not just American sitcoms that have been taunting me. It's surprising how many love songs are passive-aggressive when you're feeling guilty. There will be no one unless that someone is you. I intend to be independently blue. Nina Simone, love me or leave me. You'll always be a part of me. I'm part of you indefinitely. Boy, don't you know you can't escape me? Darling, because you'll always be my baby. Mariah Carey, always be my baby. Take back that sad word goodbye. Bring back the joy to my life. Don't leave me here with these tears. Come and kiss the pain away. Toni Braxton, unbreak my heart. Everyone thinks that I'm the fool, but they don't get any love from you. The things we won't do for love. I'd climb a mountain if I had to, and risk my life so I could have you. Tracy Chapman, for my lover. I'll never ask too much, just all that you are and everything that you do. Whitney Houston, I have nothing. So, in an attempt to exercise all this crap out of me, I have rewritten Romeo and Juliet, and I have also put it in space. Romeo and Juliet in space. A great war wages on in space between two different neighbouring planets. Juliet comes from one of these planets and Romeo from the other. Despite the two being sworn enemies, they have fallen in love. Juliet's planet has advanced technology, but still the people get all their nutrients from sucking the algae from the rocks by the ocean. The species Romeo is from pride themselves on the art and culture they have developed. They are best known in the universe for the furniture they make from their own shedded skin. On a small asteroid, far away from the war, through a maze of wormholes, Romeo and Juliet's romance burns ever more brighter. For Romeo and Juliet were madly in love, but they still hadn't had sex yet. The problem is that Romeo didn't have a penis. His species procreated by shooting sharp darts into the females. These darts pierce through the skin to find the uterus. When the females are ready to give birth, they shed their tails and the babies crawl out. The shedded tails can then be used as a crib for the infant. Whereas Juliet comes from a genderless world, where all people have the capacity to create a baby within themselves. To stimulate this process, pairs or groups of people rub themselves together. All parties involved in the scale rubbing then produce an egg. When the egg hatched, the young are brought up as twins or triplets or quads or however many there are. On the fourth moon of a planet on the far end of the galaxy lived a mystic who has the ability to rearrange genetics and change a person's species. Romeo and Juliet were so sexually frustrated, they saw the mystic as their only hope. Romeo knew that Juliet wouldn't want to give up her genderless life, so he went alone to the moon in secret. After the deed was done, Romeo returned to their asteroid to recover. As the metamorphosis set in, Romeo fell into a deep sleep. Unfortunately, Juliet arrived at the asteroid early. Although Romeo has changed their species, Juliet recognised instantly who it was lying before them, just from looking at their eyes. But the sleep was so deep, Juliet assumed that the process had gone wrong, and that Romeo was dead. The pain in Juliet's heart was so strong that the only course of action they saw fit was to kill themselves. Right there and then, Juliet reaches through their own flesh and pulls out their still beating heart. Just as Juliet's heart beats for the last time, Romeo awakes to see their love lying motionless, covered in blood. So naturally, Romeo also starts planning for suicide. But Romeo is new to their changed body and does not know how to do it. Romeo's mind spins. They stare at the stars, searching for an answer, tears rolling down their face. Just when all hope seems lost, Juliet's backup heart kicked in. Juliet's body jerks suddenly. They gasp for air like a fish out of water. All the time, staring hard into Romeo's eyes, the two hold each other for hours, unable to speak, with the shock of nearly losing each other and then getting each other back. So our protagonists get their happy ending. They fly off to the outer rim of the universe and become fearless revolutionaries whose main aim is bringing peace to the universe. As the years go by, Romeo and Juliet's love fades, but they both live long and happy lives, just not with each other. And that is, those are the things that I wanted to read for you today. So I'll say goodbye, and I hope you're all safe and well in these strange times. Cheerio.